Here is my love, my joy, my hope, my Gibson SG Standard. It's got some pieces missing because I donated them to the Les Paul Studio Light. However, most noticeably, on the back here it's had a neck break. This was done before I bought it, so I picked this up rather cheaply. Always intended to fix that. It's not a terrible job, but cosmetically it ain't that good. Let's have a look under the truss rod cover. Oh, not much interesting going on under there. Just a hole. As always, I like to just put a bit of tape over these screws on that truss rod cover. Keeps the screws in nicely. They don't go walkabouts. And don't forget your bits box. Your box of bits, your bits of box. Okay, so nothing out of the ordinary there. Time to get my scrape on. I'm going to start with this area because it's the area that I really want to look at. That's been really frustrating. There's a clamp mark there. Well, I'm assuming it's a clamp mark. Just resting on a sponge as well, that's to absorb any pressure because I don't want to be pushing it too hard. So if I push down, the sponge is taking some. If you're doing that on a hard surface, this head's going to be sticking up, so you risk breaking it again. At the 100 grit stage, you do find that you get a lot of gunk. So you've got to get your gunk off. And I do that with an old t-shirt and a hairdryer. It's really, really rough up this end due to the 100 grit. But that will sort itself out, I promise. This is where the break was, so I have to be very careful around this area. So here's the joint just here. Back of the headstock is quite wet and still a little black from the paint, so I need to get that off. The serial number and the Made in USA, not too worried about. Really hairy down here and starting to smooth off on the heel joint. On the top, still really, really black, so that's got to come off. A lot of work on the top of this guitar, so I'm going back to the blade. A lot better. Still not perfect, but the sandpaper will take care of that. I'm going to do one round of 400 dry, then go back to wet sanding. Exciting times. Here's the part that I've done. Here's the part that I've not done. Pretty dirty. I'm not putting any restoration effort in that I put on the Les Paul because I like my SGs to be a little bit dirty. They're going to have a bit of attitude, a bit of story to them. But, however, a little bit of a clean-up does nobody any harm. Just found another job. In cleaning up the binding a little, I've noticed that some of the nibs, there's a gap between the nib and the fret itself, if you can hear that. And that's just wide enough to get your E string caught in it. And I have a simple solution for that, which I will cover now. If, like me, you have problematic nibs, all you need to do is take a knife and a lighter, heat up the blade, press it on the plastic binding nib and press it against the fret itself. This will close the gap between the binding and the fret, thus eradicating your problem nip. I can now go back to my sanding. That's up to 600 and it is feeling lovely. If you're ever considering buying a Gibson with a repaired headstock, as long as they've done a good job, which this one's an okay job, could have been cleaner. If it's a good job, then the neck will actually be stronger than it was before. If they use the correct glue, for example the Type Bond, this bond will be stronger than the wood was previously. which I know is an odd concept, but it's true. I've just finished with the 3000 and I'm so happy that I've done it because this is one of my favourite guitars and one of my go-tos. But the problem with it was always that there was a slight bit of paint missing here and it was a little bit too sticky for my liking with the lacquer. Now it's nice and sanded and it'll get true oiled in a moment. I'm just so glad I've done it. I'm so happy. And that is all you're getting for this video. I've decided to make this a two-parter. I can tell you the guitar is already finished and it's right there. However, in the interests of leaving them wanting more, the second part will be available next week, or if this is in the future, it's available right now and it's in a playlist somewhere on my channel. Thank you for watching. I'm the Guitar Geek. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I've got the Patreon thing if you really want. See you in another video.